Tyson versus Roy Jones. So I didn't actually watch much of this. I saw some of it,
So
but
I did. If you want, I
it
can give a quick little.
just before you do, what it
Yeah.
looked like, it looked like two 50-year-olds fighting each other. It was kind of not sad. It's really what you should realistically expect from this fight. These are both very very long in the tooth fighters who retired at once, who are not the same people that they were. Essentially emulating what they once did
Yeah.
in their primes. I'm not saying that it was a joke or anything like that. I think having these fighters come out and do these exhibitions is always I would welcome it if it's
Yeah.
for the purpose of just going in there and seeing these guys at a different stage of their life, not necessarily out
Yeah.
there to for cash grabs or for something where they're trying to knock each other out. There's bad blood. No, let's just see what happens to these fighters when they get older, right? Like what
Yeah.
happens when John Jones is like 45 years old. Like, is he able
A
to
dangerous
still?
man.
Is he able to still maintain his distance? Like, I want to be able to see what do humans lose when they get older in terms of MMA or any
Yeah.
martial
Any
art,
sport.
right? Like, what happens? Like, it also lets us appreciate what they did before and what the human body can do in their prime, right? So
Yeah.
the fast twitch muscle, the ability to read things really fast as they're happening, the different striking abilities, the limberness of the body, right? There's so much. Um,
Yeah.
Other than that, it is what it is. What did you think?
So so I actually watched the whole 8 rounds, and like honestly, it was pretty cool. So I'll tell you what I thought. Not round by round, but just because in total it was about I think
How many rounds was
16
it?
minutes. Right? It was 8 rounds of 2 minutes.
Eight
So 16
rounds?
minutes and 8 rounds of two
Oh
minutes
my god.
of 2 minutes of 2 minutes. But
2 minutes.
honestly, for the first few rounds, like, especially Tyson, he's very explosive. Like you could tell, like he still had it in him. I think
Mm-hmm.
the problem with Roy Jones is that he was still relying on his prime reflexes, but obviously they're not there anymore, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when Tyson pushed him against the ropes, he couldn't really do much. I mean, his jab was there, but besides that, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
Um, the the biggest issue of that fight was that there was a lot of hugging and clinching. But to be honest, it's like, what do you really expect, right? Like, they
Mm-hmm.
obviously don't have the cardio to fight full throttle for 8 rounds, right? Because they're both in their 50s. But honestly, if you came into that fight with no expectations, it was a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
That's what was my expectations were. So what I saw was basically I saw Tyson bobbing and weaving and doing his level changes and what Tyson
Peekaboo style.
does, but without the like ferocity that he
Yeah, of
once would
course.
implement into his game. Because I think if you took Tyson in his prime, that hugging would convert actually into very short hooks, right?
Yeah,
Instead
like
of the hugging,
into
he would
infighting.
yeah, he would infight or he would dirty box and then get in and
Yeah.
out, right? So I think that's what happened. Then you would see Roy Jones using the ropes to go back and forth and avoid those punches. So it would have been a
Yeah.
completely different fight. But what do you expect? These are old men. It's
Yeah.
fine.
But some people were saying that Tyson was holding back. If you actually see him, he was pulling some punches. I mean, obviously, like he's not holding back everything, but
Yeah.
you could tell there was some points in time where like if he really wanted to like KO this guy, he could have.
But the
But
agreement was that it was an exhibition
no
match
knockouts.
and there was no
Yeah.
knockouts. So
Yeah.
I don't think he was in there to like even like maybe he could have knocked Roy Jones out, but
Yeah.
I don't think his intent was to go knock him out. It was just, hey, let me just go back into the boxing ring. I worked
Yeah.
to this goal. I got in shape, and now let's just see how my hands and my brain are
Yeah.
doing after
So
all
I'm not
these years.
sure, but like, have you watched like a live Tyson or Jones fight or no?
Roy Jones, yes, not Tyson. Tyson
Not
was
Tyson, right?
a long
So I
time
think
ago.
it was like it was pretty cool for like us younger fans, because we got to see Tyson like in a ring again. So
Yeah.
I guess it was pretty cool.
I don't
I
think
don't.
many younger fans know much about Roy Jones, maybe just by
Yeah.
name. But Tyson, yeah, Tyson has has a larger mystique, and he's been in the like the entertainment circle right now, or of recent in the last 5-6 years. He's been around, right? Like the Hangover movies, just like his antics, and then the UFC brought him in, and then he has his own podcast where he brings all these people. So Tyson's always had that relevancy. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
it was
guess
cool.
yeah.
It was cool.